Hello and welcome to another Reyburn Tools instructional video. I'm Nate Reyburn, and today we're going to be talking about the 200 Series CyberHammer maintenance. We're going to take apart the mechanism, clean and lubricate that, change the tuning tip, and talk about polishing the brass weight. Let's go. This is the tuning kit, or the tool kit that we sell. It's just a couple bucks. We don't need to make a lot of money on this. It's just to support the product. But you've got some Reyburn Tools repackaged Super Lube. This is the best lubricant I've ever come across in a stays where it put format. It does stay where it's put. It's either NSF or FDA, I forget which. Food safe rated for indirect food contact, so you can use it on food processing machines. I wouldn't spoon it into your mouth and just put it on your sandwich or something like that. But if you did, it probably wouldn't hurt you. So there's that. Again, this is the best trap work lubricant I've ever come across for fixing pedal squeaks. I can't tell you how many pedal squeaks I've fixed with this, and it just stays fixed. It also includes a replacement screw. We'll talk more about this in just a moment. And it comes with the 1/8 inch Allen key. This is a hex driver key. Now, when you're doing work on this tool, or really any tool, any screw you're taking out, take a quick look at the driver itself and make sure those flats are not rounded over or damaged in any way. You want those to be nice and sharp. If they're rounded over and you put them in that screw, you can end up rounding over, and because you don't have as much grip, just slipping and rounding this over, and that destroys the screw. So you've got something that's worthless making something that's worthwhile worthless. Get rid of the worthless thing before the worthlessness spreads. Well, that was fun. Okay, so more on this screw. This is a 1/2 inch, that's the length of the screw, obviously. 1032, that's the thread pitch of the screw. Button head socket screw. You can get these at any decent hardware store. They're commonly available. Now, what you'll end up getting is something a little more close to this. This is the exact screw that we use on the 700 series, for instance. It's an excellent screw. It is exactly the same as this one with the extra, just little tiny bit of flange around it. We like this one just a snitch better. We think it's just a snitch nicer because it grabs a little bit better on a larger radius and it spreads out the force and et cetera, et cetera. But this works fine. It's fine. There's no problem with this. These are ubiquitously available at any self-respecting hardware store for just a couple bucks. Stainless steel, black oxide alloy steel, whatever you want. I would recommend you get the stainless one, but it doesn't matter, really. It's up against your hand. You know your body chemistry. Get what you like. So, easy to source in the field screw. If you do damage this mechanism or whatever, you don't have this kit in your tuning kit, you've left it in the shop, or you just haven't purchased it, you don't have a spare part, just stop by Ace Hardware or any decent hardware store between you and your next tuning appointment and pick up one of these screws and put it in. Easy. Okay, let's get started here. So I've got this on a tuning pin and a block of wood. You can hold this in your hand and do it. You can put it on a piano. If you're in the shop and you've got a block of wood with a tuning pin on it, you can use that. That's how I'm going to do it now. So we're just going to put this in here and put a little bit of downward tension with our finger on this. Make sure that I'm just fully engaged here. And just bump that loose. That's all it should take. And then I'm going to flip it around so I can spin it easier. And it just spins right out. You can see that come right out. Now, as it comes out, this gets looser and looser. Okay, and now this comes out. And now I can rotate this screw and pull this entire back screw and back cap assembly out together. If they don't come out together, it's not a big deal. Let's just do that. There it is, still in there because it didn't come out with it, because whatever was in there surface tensioned it on. So I can push it out from this side, boop, or I can just put my driver in there and take it out like so. Simple as that. Now, once we've got these parts separated, You can take a shop towel or whatever you have available that'll clean it off. I don't recommend your jeans unless you don't self-respect with those jeans. I don't recommend you lick this off, but you probably could if you wanted to. Make sure there's no lubricant on this thread. And make sure there's no lubricant in this thread. If you are having this screw back out during tuning, that's the #1 problem that causes this. Somebody gets lubricant in here, and now the tension and the friction that keeps that in place while you're tuning isn't there anymore. And yeah, it can back out that way. So if that happens, you take a Q-tip with some lacquer thinner or acetone and just get it in there. Get that all out. Put this in a little bit of acetone and lacquer thinner and just dunk and swish. You can also use a nitrile glove and something like this, and just take this out. Just soak this in the lacquer thinner and use your fingernail and just put some tension into those threads and just get any lubricant out of there. Just wash it all out. Make sure this is nice and clean. If you continue to have problems with this backing itself out, I recommend you put just a drop of Loctite 243. That's the blue medium strength thread lacquer. Medium strength, not the red high strength, not the red high strength, not the red high strength. And just put a drop at the end of the threads before you put it in. That's all. That's all. You can also use Permatex. Has a similar product. This happens to be a gel product that I like. It just kind of stays where I put it. It doesn't drip everywhere. 24005, the medium strength thread locker. You shouldn't absolutely need those, but if you do, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, so we've cleaned off this cap screw. We're cleaning off the back cap. Yep, that's all there is to it. It's marked 316 on the inside, goes in, and the pretty side with the nice bevel cut into it for your comfort goes out. If you put it backwards, it'll still work, but just won't be as comfortable. And then we'll get everything off of the business end of the extension. Okay. That's all there is to it. So let's re-lubricate that. Oh, I think we forgot to clean the bore here. So you've got a counter bore milled surface here. Yeah, we definitely forgot that. And get that all cleaned out. Same here. I like to do a 360 on the head itself. And just kind of force this towel in through here and get any crud that's blasted off. Same on that side. That's all there is to it. Now let's talk about relubrication. I've got this little piece of copper wire with a vinyl sleeve on it. It's just a piece of copper wire that I've stripped the insulation off of both ends. You can use a toothpick, your drop screwdriver, barbecue, shish kebab stick, just anything that's a little bit pointy at the end that you can pick up a little bit of lubricant with. And, pick up about that much lubricant. Just a blop. Now I like to just put a blop of it roughly every 2 o'clock. So 12, 2, 4, 6, and so on and so forth. And a little bit more on this side. Here we go. 12 and 6. 8, 2, 4, 10. Okay, that's all there is to it. In it goes. Once again, make sure that you don't have any lubricant that you're ingressing into this. You don't want to just put so much on that you're snowplow scooping this in. And of note, let me put it so that this is up on you from your perspective where you're looking at it. This extension needs to go in on the side that is laser engraved Reyburn. It's out of focus there, I think. This is laser engraved Reyburn, and the extension needs to go in that side. When you look at it, it is going to be angled downward at about 5 degrees. That's because tuning pins in a vertical pin block are angled up at about 5 degrees. Gives them a little bit better ability to hold the the string torque and so forth, string tension. Now we want our tuning hammer to be rotating in line with the pin block. If you put it in backwards, and you can, you can imagine how much less comfortable this is going to be. You're going to end up dusting your knuckles on tuning pins, especially or on the lid hinge on a Yamaha U1. You're going to dramatically reduce your clearance. It's not designed to go in this way. It can rotate, but it's not as clean. But yeah, you need to have it going in on the Reyburn side. This is a critical point, absolutely critical. You need to do it this way. Now, it doesn't matter whether you have it like this or like this. It's symmetrical on this rotational axis, completely symmetrical on this rotational axis. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Some people like to get hung up on which side the icon or the text on the tuning tip was. That's just where it happened to end up when it got screwed on. That it just happened to end up there. It doesn't indicate a top or a bottom. Okay, so I've got the extension in the head. That's all nice and smooth. I'll put it on my tuning pin here, make it easy for myself. 316 down, shiny side with the bevel up. In it goes. Okay. Let's put this screw back on. And this is one way you can get that ingress of lubricant onto your threads. You've got lubricant on your hands. You pick up the screw. Now you've got lubricant on the screw. So just be careful with what you touch. Line that up. This goes in. And I'm just going to use my 2 fingers. In you go. Okay. There it is. Now, as I'm tightening it down, I'm doing the final tightening, I just want to be rotating it back and forth, making sure that that back cap is centered. It is possible to have this back cap like all the way off to the side, and now you've got an eccentric cam that can kind of bind at the end. So just rotate it as you're tightening this down. I'm just using 2 fingers and 1 in the center to kind of hold it down at the center of rotation, and just whoop, until it really stops snug. That's all. Most of us aren't going to be putting this in with a torque wrench. There is a torque rating spec for these. It's not super high. It's not a lug nut. You can also use a tool like this, these 1/4-inch hex drive with an 1/8-inch bit driver. But again, do not use anything but the correct driver for this. Do not use a Phillips or a Torx bit or pliers or anything else for this. You want to use the correct bit for this. Anything else will damage the screw and the tool, and that's not covered by warranty because that's not a design problem. Okay, so this is back together. It's working. Let's just give it a double strike test. It feels great. Now, we have a tuning tip. This tuning tip, let's just clean up our work area here real quick. Get all this out of here so we can focus on what we're doing. This tuning tip is put on with a tool called a tip wrench. If you're not familiar with this, you as a professional piano technician need to be familiar with this and have one in your tuning kit. This will let you take off a tuning tip, and the amount of torque that you should need to get this off should be easily accessible by hand. Just putting this on the ground and lefty-loosey, just push down on it. That's all there is to it. Now you should be able to get it off by hand or very close to it. Yep, there we go. So off this comes. There it goes. And that's all there is to it. Now, when this goes back on, it should spin on freely, and you can put on any standard American Japanese BKB Hale shaft type tip. It needs to be the 3/8 30 threads. And standard. This is the industry standard thread for this type of tool. Now, when we put this back on, a lot of us were taught the old school lug nut stomp way of putting these on. You'd hold this down and you would stomp on this with your foot. Don't do that. Don't do that. It does not need that much force. You can, and I have, showed up at a tuning with the tuning tip like this. And this was my only tuning tool in my kit at the time. So you go and try to tune the piano, and it's super loose, but you're generally raising the pitch more than you're lowering it, and there's more tension on the sharpwood side. This tip will naturally tighten itself down. That's not to say I don't recommend you tighten it up ahead of time a little bit, snug it up, but you really don't need any more than just putting this down on a bench surface or over your knee, and just just give it a push until it stops moving. Just out here, just give it a push, boom, and that's all. You don't need to be stomping this. You can damage the tool that way. And once again, that's not covered under warranty, because that's not, yeah, it's not how it's designed to be used. It's not good use of the tool. Final thing is this brass weight. This is a brushed brass weight as it comes on this tool, and you can polish this up at any time. Just take some Brasso or whatever Flitz type metal polish that you like best. If you polish pedals or piano hinges or brass case parts whatsoever, just use whatever you use for this, and you can take this off. Do it by hand, leave it on. I prefer not to get solvents or gunk on this surface here, and that's true when I'm cleaning the head here as well. And that's all there is to it. That is the 200 Series CyberHammer complete maintenance video. That's all you need to know to maintain a 200 Series CyberHammer. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.